couldn't have dialed a phone on February 12th. She was said to have departed the day before, yet mobile records tell a starkly different tale. A call that shouldn't exist was made. A missed call lit up the screen, but who answered? Police just confirmed the timeline of her passing is completely upended. If Betsy was alive that morning, what truly happened next? A mix-up, a tech glitch, or a chilling secret nestled in Gene Hackman's home? The more the truth unravels, the stranger and more unbelievable it gets. These are my musings from a personal angle. I won't claim certainty, but if these theories hold water, the Hackman saga won't end here. February 26, 2025, Santa Fe, New Mexico. The passing of Hollywood titan Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa Hackman rocked the media and fans worldwide. At first it seemed straightforward. Betsy was said to have left on February 11th due to complications from the rare H virus pulmonary syndrome. About a week later, Gene followed, failed by heart issues with Alzheimer's playing a role. It felt finished until the Santa Fe County Sheriff dropped a bombshell on February 12th, a day after Betsy's supposed end. Her mobile made 3 calls to Cloudberry Health, a Santa Fe medical center. Even wilder, that afternoon, a missed call from Cloudberry Health pinged her phone. If Betsy was gone by February 11th, who dialed out on the 12th? More crucially, who was meant to pick up that afternoon call? Phone data doesn't FIB. The sheriff's official report confirms Betsy's phone made 3 calls to Cloudberry Health that morning. It's a baffling paradox. How could someone no longer here use their phone? Things get odder still. Cloudberry Health called her back that afternoon. It went unanswered. But if Betsy was out, why was her phone still active? This flips the whole timeline. If medical reports locked her departure to February 11th, how's there a call from her phone on the 12th? Was the health data wrong, or did someone else use Betsy's phone that morning? Days after the mystery call hit the news, Dr. Josiah Child, Cloudberry Health's head, spoke up in a Daily Mail interview. He dropped a stunner: Mrs. Hackman didn't die on February 11th because she called my clinic on February 12th. Per Dr. Child, Betsy contacted his clinic on February 12th to book a checkup. Weeks earlier, she'd inquired about an echocardiogram for Gene, but on February 10th she abruptly canceled, saying Gene wasn't well yet. On the 12th morning, Betsy called again to set a new appointment. Dr. Child insists she showed no signs, the alleged cause of her exit. He stressed she did not show any symptoms of respiratory distress. The appointment wasn't for anything related to high risk, but the weirdest part, Betsy never made that appointment, and when Cloudberry Health tried her that afternoon, no one picked up. This sparks a flood of doubts. If Betsy was alive that morning, why couldn't she make it to the clinic? And if she'd left on February 11th as first claimed, who called on the 12th? These calls raise unavoidable questions. The real moment of departure. If Betsy lived into February 12th morning, what happened after? Was the initial forensic report off-call content? What did Betsy say to Cloudberry Health? Did she mention Gene's health? Who took the call? If Betsy was gone, who got Cloudberry's afternoon ring? Why no answer? Where was her phone if someone used it? Who and why? These don't just reshape the case, they hint at a deeper enigma. Was something buried in this story? Once the mystery call broke, Santa Fe police had to rethink everything. Betsy Arakawa Hackman's departure timeline isn't clean anymore. That February 12th call doesn't just scramble the probe, it questions the first forensic claims. If Betsy passed on February 11th, how her phone worked the next day. The sheriff's office vowed to reanalyze phone data and timeline, but With these contradictions, the investigation's now thornier than ever. A statement from the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office jolted the nation. Betsy Arakawa Hackman didn't pass on February 11th as first thought. Sheriff Jonathan Ruiz faced a sea of camera, his expression grave. He reopened the case files, revealing new evidence that shook everything they'd held as true. We have compelling evidence suggesting that Mrs. Hackman was alive on the morning of February 12th. That means we must reconsider the entire timeline of her 8:22 and 8:35 a.m. on February 12th. But what muddies it more? Betsy booked a checkup for herself on February 13th. Why would someone departed schedule a doctor's visit? No answer. Betsy asked for a heart check tied to past worries about Gene's frail health, but this time it was for her. She sounded clear, alert, and very much alive. Dr. Child insisted. So what went down? Was Betsy truly ticking that morning? If so, what snuffed her out after the eeriest moment? Betsy didn't show for that February 13th slot she called. She booked, but she never arrived. Cloudberry Health tried her that afternoon, hours after her booking. Instead of her voice, it rang out to voicemail. From that point, Betsy Arawa Hackman dropped off the map. Cops scoured Betsy's phone logs. Suspicious bits emerged. Last outgoing call 8:35 a.m. February 12th to Cloudberry Health. Last incoming 3:46 p.m. that day from Cloudberry Health. Unanswered phone activity. Flatline post 3:46 p.m. No calls or texts came or went. Her phone worked that morning, then vanished from contact. What struck her after that final morning call? Learning Betsy might have lived into February 12th. Police had to revisit the initial forensic claim. Her listed cause was Hiru's complications, a rodent-borne illness, but Dr. Child swears she showed no such signs that morning. This forks into two paths. The forensic report botched it. Betsy didn't go on February 11th. She lived that morning, but met something right after. Either way, the timeline of Betsy Hackman's end just flipped under public heat. Sheriff Ruiz vowed a full redo. The new evidence has forced us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about Mrs. Hackman's death. We will leave no stone unturned. That means rechecking forensics, witness words, and even third-party meddling with Betsy possibly alive on February 12's dawn. This isn't just a medical passing anymore. It's an unsolved puzzle. Folks thought Betsy Hackman left on February 11th, but one call rewrote it all. She was up that morning. Post final call. She went silent. The big question now: what truly happened to Betsy Hackman after that fateful morning? On February 14th, 2025, Santa Fe police got an urgent call from the Hackman's longtime housekeeper, Margaret Ortiz. Her panicked voice carried a chilling detail that sent cops racing to the scene. He's still sitting there eating breakfast like nothing's wrong, but she's not responding anymore. When police arrived, they found Gene Hackman, the storied actor, in the living room with a teacup, staring blankly out the window just steps away. In the main bedroom, Betsy Hackman's body lay still for how long no one could say. The gut punch question hit hard. How could Gene Hackman live in that house with his wife for days and not notice she was gone? More pressing, did he really not know, or was there another reason he didn't react after finding Betsy's body? Early forensics guessed she'd been out at least 7 days. That means Gene shared the home with her, oblivious to her passing. The initial cause was Hiru's pulmonary syndrome, a rare rodent-borne infection. But here's the glaring snag: if Betsy died of Hiru's and Gene stayed with her a week, why wasn't he sick? This threw medical experts into doubt about what really took Betsy. Hiru's spreads easily through air, and given Gene's age and frailty. He should have shown signs, yet he was fine. Forensic Dr. Caroline Vega floated another idea: Gene's early Alzheimer's might have blinded him to his wife's exit. Close sources say Gene's memory had slipped in recent years, though he stayed sharp in chats. Medical notes suggest Alzheimer's could dull awareness of major shifts like a loved one's departure, but something's off. Gene wasn't alone. Margaret Ortiz came daily, cooking, cleaning, and sometimes talking with Betsy. How no one catch this sooner? Police wondered, was Gene truly clueless? Or was he cut off somehow? When questioned, Margaret Ortiz seemed rattled. She said Betsy stopped showing up as usual. She'd sit in her chair reading each morning, but from February 11th I didn't see her. I asked Mr. Hackman. He just said she was sleeping. Ortiz admitted she bought Gene's line, figuring Betsy had a mild bug. She didn't dare enter Betsy's room, just worked as normal. Then something terrified her. On February 13th, I heard a phone ringing from Mrs. Betsy's bedroom. She pegged it as Cloudberry Health's missed call from 3:46 p.m. on February 12th per police logs, but as she neared the bedroom door, the ringing stopped. Then Gene appeared behind her. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Don't go in there, she needs rest." That moment chilled Ortiz. His eyes, they weren't like before. I saw fear in him. Cops dug deeper into the days around Betsy's end, spotting a red flag. Gene didn't call anyone for a week. No family, friend's assistant, or manager. His phone had one text, February 12th, from an unknown number. Don't answer it. Who sent it? More vital, did Gene not know what happened to Betsy, or was he controlled? With current evidence, police laid out 3 theories. Gene missed Betsy's exit due to Alzheimer's, but why didn't others notice sooner? Betsy didn't go on February 11th, but later fitting Cloudberry calls. Yet who was in the house then? Gene was isolated or manipulated. Someone blocked his info and outreach. If Gene was unaware, why stop Ortiz from entering the bedroom? Who texted "Don't answer it"? If Betsy died of hantavirus, why Janan escape it? Most critical, what really happened between February 12th morning and Betsy's total vanish? This tale's growing stranger. Is it a sad fluke or a hidden force at play? At 3:46 p.m. on February 12th, a call from Cloudberry Health logged on Betsy Hackman's phone. The chilling part, she was supposed to be gone since February 11th. This floored Sheriff Raymond Keller. Digging into carrier data, he saw Bet's phone wasn't just rung, it was powered on several times between February 11th and 13th. Someone departed. Can't touch their phone, so who did? Inspecting the Hackman home, police found Betsy's phone on her bedside table, intact, undamaged, undisturbed, but GPS data showed it moved from late February 11 to morning February 12th. Its spot shifted twice in the house. First 4:17 a.m. on the 12th, it activated in the living room, Gene's usual morning haunt. Second 2:52 p.m. it lit up in the bedroom. Then 54 minutes later, Cloudberry's missed call hit. If Betsy was out, who held her phone that afternoon? Call from Cloudberry went unanswered, yet carrier logs say the phone stayed live. Someone could have seen Hackman's on February 12th morning. She saw a car parked out front, a black SUV. Didn't see anyone go in or out, but it sat there a while, over an hour. At least neighbor Kim Data backed it. An SUV rolled up at 10:35 a.m. on February 12th. But checking the plate, it didn't exist. The SUV came and went quietly, leaving no trace. Who rode in it? What's it got to do with Betsy's phone buzzing post-exit? Digging further, police found a deleted text on Betsy's phone from that morning. Data recovery pulled it back. It's done. We need to talk, sent from an unknown number. Erased Minutes after arrival, who scrubbed it? Betsy couldn't if it landed on the 12th. Someone worked her phone then. Who? Gene knew nothing of it. The only one who could have touched Betsy's phone that day was in the house. Then the deeper they dug, the less this felt like a simple passing. If Betsy left on February 11th, who used her phone on the 12th? If she lived to call Cloudberry that morning, what hit after? Who drove that ghost SUV? It's done. We need to talk. What's it mean? Someone gone, can't dial. So who did, and what's being buried? When police rechecked Betsy Hackman's call logs, they stumbled on a shocker. She didn't just call Cloudberry Health on February 12th morning for a health check. She booked it for Gene Hackman. Dr. Josiah Child, who took her call, told cops she asked to schedule a cardio exam for Mr. Gene. I remember clear as day. It wasn't her first time asking. Child's words flipped the case's lens. Betsy wasn't just fretting over Gene's health. She might have spotted something dire. That February 12th call wasn't her first to Cloudberry Health. Gene's medical history showed Betsy booked him a checkup 2 weeks prior on January 29th. But the odd part, on February 10th, Betsy canceled it, saying Gene was under the weather. 2 days later, February 12th, she called to set a new one. What flipped between February 10th and 12th to change her mind? Why ditch the first slot only to reschedule? Betsy's excuse for nixing February 10th was Gene's illness, but housekeeper Maria Esteban there on February 9th and 10th saw different. He looked fine. I watched him eat breakfast, stroll the garden like always. No sign he was sick. If Gene wasn't ailing, why Betsy says so to cancel? And why the sudden shift on February 12th? Dr. Child dropped another nugget weeks back. Betsy called about a heart test for Gene. She was dead worried, kept asking about sneaky symptoms with no clear flags. Betsy feared for Gene's ticker long before, but why the rush on February 12th? Did she catch something off about Gene's state, or worse, something beyond health? A darker secret digging on police found Betsy's February 12th morning call. A Cloudberry cut short. Switchboard data says it ran 4 minutes 32 seconds, then dropped. Dr. Child recalled, I was explaining tests when she blurted, I've got to go, and hung up. I didn't get to ask why. Betsy bailed mid-chat. Was someone there? Did she hear something, or did someone want her quiet? A detail overlooked. Cops dug more, finding a Santa Fe Meds pharmacy receipt in Betsy's purse, dated February 10th, same day she asked Gene's first appointment. She bought heart support meds, a mild sedative, a home urine test kit. She grabbed these right before canceling. What's it mean? Did she test Gene herself, find something to ditch the visit, or fear Gene faced a threat beyond sickness? What Betsy knew before her end clues screamed. Betsy uncovered something around February 10th, something spooking her enough to cancel Gene's checkup, but 2 days later she reversed, booking a new 3. If she lived to February 12th, why no one see or hear from her after biggest? Did Gene know the truth? The eerie part, every answer hints at one fact: something happened between February 11th and 18th. A fact no one wants to face. Gene Hackman left a week post Betsy. They call it old age, health crumbling, but closer looks found oddities. Gene's forensic report lacks a clear cause, no major illness signs, no stroke or heart failure clues, nothing showing he was critical before. He just went a wild coincidence, or a buried riddle? What Gene knew pre and a detail few caught. Gene's day on Betsy's passing. That whole week, no calls to friends, no instant funeral plans, no media peep. Why close ones say Gene seemed haunted those final days. He'd mutter stuff no one got, like he was asking himself why it go this way. What really happened? An old pal shared that begs a big one. Did Gene know Betsy's Truth and it broke him, or worse did he. Hush a secret, the oddest bit how police handled it with red flags like Betsy's phone active post supposed exit. Cloudberry's missed call on February 12th afternoon, Dr. child swearing Betsy lived past February 11th, Gene's vague passing right after it should have sparked a bigger dig, but it got buried fast. Forensic files sealed, no firm conclusion, no autopsy done, case records locked from press. That's not normal, it's a sign something larger hidden too. Much lines up too neat for chance. Betsy's tag gone on February 11th, but phone data and Cloudberry calls prove she hit February 12th. Gene lived a week post Betsy never mentioning her or acting on her loss. He faded mysteriously, no clear cause. Exactly 7 days later, cops flipped the timeline but gave no solid why. Files got tidied up quick, leaving no trail to chase. This ain't mere luck, it's a tale untold. One thing sure, Gene and Betsy Hackman knew something now, neither's here to spill it. The scariest part, someone ensured that truth stays dead. All leads wiped, all witnesses gone. Police closed it, but too many questions linger. Gene and Betsy Hackman's story ended in silence. Was it natural quiet or a crafted hush? The public might move on, but those watching close know this isn't over. The truth might still lurk, and if someone hunts it, can they live to tell? This is just a theory, a tale stitched from the weird scraps of Gene and Betsy Hackman's case. Maybe it's all random chance, or maybe a grander truth stashed away. Either way, the questions linger, floating like whispers from yesteryear, and perhaps we'll never get the full story.